You ask her, "Where were you?" She gives you an answer. A story that sounds just a little too perfect. You feel that pit in your stomach, that knot of intuition telling you something is off, but you can't prove it. You want to believe her because the alternative is unthinkable. Today, we're ripping away the polite lies and exposing the raw, uncomfortable psychology of deception. I'm going to show you the hidden, involuntary tells that women cannot hide when they're lying about where they've been. This isn't about paranoia, it's about equipping you with the undeniable truth so you can stop being a naive fool and start seeing the reality of your relationship, no matter how brutal it may be. Once you know these tells, you can never unsee them. You've felt it before. That subtle shift in her eyes, the overly detailed explanation for a simple question, the sudden uncharacteristic anger when you gently probe. Your gut screams at you, "She's lying." But you suppress it. You silence that inner voice because the truth is too painful to confront. You tell yourself you're being paranoid, that you trust her, that communication is key. And every time you ignore that gut feeling, you hand her the psychological leverage to erode your reality and your self-respect. The uncomfortable truth about human deception, especially in intimate relationships, is that the human mind is a master of self-preservation. When a woman is actively concealing information about her whereabouts, her brain is under immense cognitive load. It's not just recalling facts, it's creating them, managing them, and suppressing the truth. And under that pressure, involuntary biological tells emerge, clues she cannot hide, no matter how good of an actress she believes herself to be. This isn't about encouraging baseless suspicion. It's about empowering you with the tools to discern objective truth from carefully constructed narratives. It's about recognizing that your intuition is often screaming a warning you've been conditioned to ignore. The mainstream narrative tells you to trust unconditionally. I'm telling you to observe objectively. Because the man who knows the truth, even if it hurts, is always more powerful than the man living in a comfortable lie. If you're ready to shed the naive optimism and learn the cold, hard psychology of deception, to see the hidden clues that most men miss, then you need to be part of this community. Hit that subscribe button right now. We deliver these unfiltered truths about human behavior every single week, and you cannot afford to stay ignorant. Let's dive into the 3 categories of hidden clues she can't hide. First, we have verbal contradictions and overcompensation. When a woman is lying about her whereabouts, her brain is juggling 2 conflicting realities, the truth and the lie she's constructing. This cognitive stress often manifests in subtle but critical verbal tells. One of the most common is over-explanation or excessive detail. If you ask a simple question like, "What did you do after work?" and she launches into a highly elaborate chronological narrative, complete with unnecessary details about the weather, traffic, or the specific brand of coffee she bought, pay attention. A truthful story is often concise and lacks this level of performative detail because the brain isn't working to convince you. It's simply recalling. A lie, however, often needs to be buttressed with a wall of facts to appear credible. I had a friend, John, who noticed his girlfriend, Emily, started getting home unusually late from her work dinners with a female colleague. One night, he casually asked, "How was dinner?" Emily, usually brief, launched into a 10-minute monologue about the new restaurant, the specific appetizer they shared, a funny story about a clumsy waiter, even the exact time she left. The level of detail was jarring. A few weeks later, John's intuition, fueled by this pattern of over-explanation, led him to discover Emily wasn't having dinner with her female colleague, but with an old flame. Her brain, overloaded with managing the lie, had overcompensated with a barrage of fabricated specifics. Another verbal tell is a sudden change in language patterns. This can include avoiding contractions, like "I did not go" instead of "I didn't go." An increase in filler words, like like, if she's creating the story on the fly, or a noticeable shift from her usual speaking cadence. She might also become defensive or angry if you ask a follow-up question. A simple, "Oh really? Which coffee shop?" can sometimes trigger a disproportionate emotional response because your follow-up is threatening the fragile architecture of her lie. Second, observe the nonverbal leakage. The body betrays the mind. This is where the subconscious truly gives her away. While she can control her words, her body is often telling a different story, driven by the stress of deception. One major tell is inconsistent eye contact. Liars often either avoid eye contact altogether, breaking it off quickly, or they overcompensate with abnormally intense, prolonged staring, trying to project sincerity. Truthful eye contact is natural. It shifts, it connects, it breaks away, and it re-engages without conscious effort. The moment it feels off, either too little or too much, that's a red flag. Another key nonverbal clue is grooming behaviors or self-soothing gestures. Watch for her touching her neck, playing with her hair, rubbing her arm, fiddling with jewelry, or covering her mouth. These are unconscious attempts to comfort herself under the stress of lying. Her body is literally trying to soothe the anxiety her words are creating. There was a situation with a client. Let's call him Mike. His wife claimed she was at a girls' night at a friend's house. When she got home, Mike noticed her immediately going to the bathroom to freshen up, which was unusual. When he asked her about her night, she answered quickly, but her hand kept going to her neck, adjusting an invisible collar. Her eyes darted around the room slightly before settling into a fixed, almost defiant stare. Mike's gut churned. The next day, he discreetly checked her car mileage and found it didn't align with a simple trip to her friend's house. Her nonverbals were screaming long before her words betrayed her. If this exploration into the hidden psychology of deception is resonating with you, and you want to continue honing your ability to perceive reality clearly, even when it's uncomfortable, then you need to be a part of this community. Don't fall for the naive narratives pushed elsewhere. Hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications so you don't miss the critical insights that will empower you. Third, look for inconsistencies with the baseline and emotional volatility. To catch a lie, you first need to understand her baseline behavior. How does she typically act when she's telling the truth? How does she sound? What are her normal mannerisms? The moment her behavior deviates significantly from that established baseline, you have a signal. A woman who is lying about her whereabouts will often exhibit unusual emotional volatility. She might become disproportionately defensive, angry, or even turn the accusation back on you, accusing you of not trusting her or of being controlling. This emotional outburst serves as a powerful distraction, shifting the focus from her potential deception to your negative reaction. It's a calculated or often subconscious tactic to create a smokescreen. Facade. Consider the case of Mark, a successful professional who noticed his long-term girlfriend Jessica began having more late meetings at work. Usually, Jessica was calm and collected, but when Mark gently inquired about the specific details of one such meeting, her face hardened. "Why do you always question me?" she snapped, her voice suddenly sharp. "Do you not trust me? Are you saying I'm lying?" This aggressive deflection was completely out of character for her usual calm demeanor. Mark, recalling her typical baseline, recognized this dramatic shift in emotional response as a massive red flag. Her anger was a shield for a narrative that couldn't withstand scrutiny. Her emotional state can also shift drastically. She might seem unusually anxious, nervous, or overly eager to please immediately after giving her story, as if trying to smooth things over. The key is the disproportionate response, an emotion that doesn't quite fit the situation. Ultimately, your greatest tool is not accusation, but observation and calm questioning. When you notice these clusters of verbal and nonverbal tells, do not immediately confront her with anger. Instead, remain calm, detached, and simply observe. Store the data. Ask gentle, open-ended questions and watch for the tells. The truth always has a way of revealing itself to the man who is patient enough and discerning enough to see it. This isn't about fostering an environment of suspicion. It's about empowering you to navigate the complexities of relationships with clear eyes and an unshakable understanding of human psychology. Your integrity, your standards, and your sanity depend on your ability to perceive reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. If this knowledge has opened your eyes to uncomfortable but necessary truths, don't let this be the end of your education. Subscribe to this channel to arm yourself with the essential psychological tools to build genuinely strong, honest relationships. Hit that notification bell and commit to being a man who sees through the lies and lives in the truth.